I never imagined that one wedding invitation would destroy 2 lives and save mine. My name is Emily Carter. I'm 30 years old. This happened 6 years ago. Back then, I believed I had the perfect life, a loving husband, a beautiful home, and one person I trusted more than anyone, my best friend, Sophia. People always joke that we looked like sisters. We laughed together, worked together, and shared every secret. When I married Ryan, Sophia stood beside me as my maid of honor. She held my bouquet, she fixed my wedding dress, she even cried during our vows. If someone had told me that she would one day steal my husband, I would have laughed in their face because that's how much I trusted her. For 4 years, everything seemed perfect, or at least that's what Ryan wanted me to believe. Then, little things started changing. Ryan began working late. His phone was always face down. Whenever Sophia came over, they suddenly became quiet. When I entered the room, I ignored every warning sign because love makes you blind, until one rainy evening, I came home 2 hours early. The house was unusually quiet. I called Ryan's name. No answer. Then I heard laughter coming from upstairs, not just any laughter. Her laughter, Sophia's. I slowly walked toward our bedroom, and my heart was pounding so hard I could barely breathe. I reached for the doorknob and opened the door. The bedroom door wasn't completely closed. There was only a small gap, but it was enough to destroy everything I believed. Ryan was sitting on the edge of our bed. Sophia was standing right in front of him. She wasn't crying. She wasn't scared. She was smiling. Ryan gently tucked a strand of her hair behind her ear, the same way he used to do with me. For a second, I couldn't move. My whole body went numb. Then Ryan noticed me. His smile disappeared. Emily, it's not what you think. Sophia quickly stepped back. She looked nervous, but only for a second. Then she looked me straight in the eyes without saying a single word. I stared at both of them, waiting for someone to tell me this was all a misunderstanding. No one did. Ryan finally sighed. I was going to tell you. Those words hurt more than anything else. Not, I'm sorry. Not, I made a mistake. Instead, I was going to tell you, as if our marriage was already over. I looked at Sophia, the woman I called my sister. How long? She lowered her head. Ryan answered instead, almost a year. A year, for 12 months. They had smiled in my face, celebrated birthdays with me, shared dinners with me, while hiding the truth. I felt tears filling my eyes, but I refused to let them fall, not in front of them. Ryan slowly walked toward me. Emily, we didn't mean for this to happen. I took one step back, then another, and quietly asked, so, when were you planning to leave? Ryan stayed silent. Sophia finally spoke. We love each other. Those 5 words ended my marriage. I nodded slowly, I smiled, and for the first time, I realized some smiles hide the deepest pain without yelling, without throwing anything, without begging. I simply turned around, walked downstairs, picked up my car keys, and left. Neither of them followed me, neither of them called. That night, I sat alone in my car, watching the rain hit the windshield, and I whispered to myself, one day, you'll both understand what you destroyed. They thought that was the end of my story. They had no idea. It was only the beginning. 3 months passed. Not a single phone call, not a single apology. Ryan never tried to explain. Sophia never reached out. It was as if I had never existed. At first, the silence hurt. Then it became peaceful. I found a small apartment, started a new job, and slowly, I began rebuilding my life. Every morning, I looked in the mirror and reminded myself, you survived yesterday. Now survive today. One day. A thick white envelope arrived. There was no return address. I opened it, and without thinking, inside, what was a wedding invitation. My hands started shaking. Ryan and Sophia, they were getting married. I almost laughed. 3 months ago. They destroyed my marriage. Now they wanted me to celebrate theirs. At the bottom of the invitation, someone had handwritten a note. Emily, I truly hope you'll come. It would mean a lot to us. Sophia, I read it twice, then a third time. I couldn't believe it. The woman who had taken my husband was asking me to watch her marry him that night. I showed the invitation to my grandmother. She looked at me quietly and then asked, "What are you going to do?" I smiled. I don't know. She reached across the table and held my hand and said something. I'll never forget. Sometimes God doesn't invite you to watch them celebrate. He sends you there to watch the truth reveal itself. Those words stayed with me for days. I couldn't stop thinking about them. Finally, the night before the wedding, I stood in front of my closet, holding two dresses, one black, one blue. I smiled, folded the black dress, and chose the blue one. If I wasn't going as a victim. I was going with my head held high. The next morning, I drove toward the wedding venue. I had no idea that before the ceremony was over, someone would whisper a few words that would leave the entire hall speechless. The wedding venue was more beautiful than I had imagined. White roses, crystal chandeliers, soft piano music filled the room. Every guest was smiling as if this was the beginning of a perfect love story. I parked my car, took a deep breath, and walked inside. The moment I entered, people started looking at me. Some recognized me immediately. Others whispered quietly, "Isn't that Ryan's ex-wife? What is she doing here?" I thought she wouldn't come. I ignored every stare. I smiled politely and walked to the last row, far away from everyone else. A few minutes later, Ryan walked into the hall. He looked confident, happy. He never even looked in my direction. Then the music changed. Everyone stood up. Sophia appeared, wearing a beautiful white wedding dress. She looked stunning. For a brief moment, our eyes met. Her smile disappeared. She hadn't expected me to come, but I simply smiled. Nothing more, nothing less. The ceremony began. The officiant welcomed everyone. He started talking about love, trust, and forever. Every word felt painfully ironic. Then the officiant asked if anyone has any lawful reason why these two should not be married. The room became completely silent. I stayed seated. I didn't move. I didn't speak. Ryan glanced toward me, almost expecting me to stand. I didn't. A few guests turned around, waiting for drama. None came. The officiant smiled. "Very well." He continued the ceremony. Ryan reached for Sophia's hands. She smiled, but something looked different. Her hands were shaking. Ryan whispered, "Are you okay?" She nodded, but her face had turned pale. The vows began. Ryan finished his first. Everyone applauded. Then it was Sophia's turn. She opened her mouth, but no words came out. She looked at Ryan. Then, slowly, she turned toward me. The entire hall watched her. She took one deep breath, walked away from the altar, and stopped right in front of me. Nobody understood what was happening. Then she leaned close to my ear and whispered just a few words. My eyes widened. Before I could answer, she turned around, looked directly at Ryan, and with tears running down her face, she quietly said, "I can't do this." The entire hall went completely silent. Ryan stood frozen. The guests couldn't believe what they had just seen, and before anyone could stop her, the bride walked away. For several seconds, no one moved, no one spoke. The only sound was Sophia crying. Ryan stood at the altar, completely confused. "Sophia, what are you doing?" She didn't answer. She kept walking until she reached the exit. Ryan ran after her. The guests immediately stood up. The entire wedding had turned into chaos. Some people followed them outside. Others stayed inside, trying to understand what had just happened. I remained in my seat, calm, silent, just watching. A few moments later, the wedding planner walked over to me. She looked embarrassed. "I'm so sorry. I don't know what's happening." I smiled gently. It's all right. Then I slowly stood up. I was about to leave when I heard someone calling my name. "Emily." I turned around. It was Sophia. Her makeup was ruined by tears. She looked nothing like the confident woman who had stolen my husband. She stopped in front of me for a long moment, and she couldn't even speak. Finally, she whispered, "I can't marry him." I looked at her quietly. She wiped away her tears. Then she said, "The truth has been killing me for 6 years." I didn't interrupt. She took another deep breath. "Ryan never knew what really happened." My heart skipped a beat. She looked down at the floor. I lied to him. I told him that you were cheating on him. I closed my eyes. For 6 years, Ryan had believed that I betrayed him. Sophia continued crying. I deleted your messages. I blocked your calls. I made him believe. You had already moved on. Everything made sense. Ryan never left because he stopped loving me. He left because he believed a lie. At that exact moment, Ryan walked back inside. He had heard every single word. He looked at Sophia, then at me. His face turned completely pale. His lips trembled. He could barely speak. Emily, is this true? I looked into his eyes. For the first time in 6 years, I finally answered, yes. You never even gave me a chance to explain. Ryan slowly stepped backward. His entire world collapsed in a matter of seconds. He realized the woman he had trusted had destroyed all 3 of our lives. And what happened next, no one in that wedding hall would ever forget. Ryan stood there, unable to move, unable to breathe. He looked at Sophia, then back at me. His voice shook. Emily, why didn't you fight for us? I smiled sadly. I did. You just never listened? The room fell silent once again. Ryan slowly turned toward Sophia. His eyes were filled with disbelief. You lied to me. For 6 years? Sophia broke down. I loved you. I was afraid if you ever found out the truth, you'd go back to Emily. Ryan closed his eyes. For a long moment, no one spoke. Finally, he removed his wedding ring. Before it had even become official, he placed it on the table beside the altar. Then he quietly said, "It's over." Sophia collapsed into a chair, sobbing uncontrollably. The guests watched, completely speechless. Some quietly walked away. Others couldn't believe what they had just witnessed. The wedding planner began collecting the untouched flowers. Within minutes, the beautiful wedding hall was almost empty. Ryan slowly walked toward me. I know I don't deserve your forgiveness, but if I could go back, I would. I looked at him. For 6 years, I had imagined this moment. I thought I'd be angry, I'd yell, I'd make him suffer, but standing there, I felt nothing, because the pain had already left me. I quietly replied, I forgave you a long time ago, but forgiveness doesn't rebuild what's been destroyed. A single tear rolled down Ryan's face. He nodded. For the first time, he understood that some mistakes can never be undone. Without another word, I turned around, walked toward the exit. The sunlight was brighter than it had been in years. As I stepped outside, I took one deep breath and smiled, not because they lost, but because I had finally found peace. Sometimes the greatest revenge isn't shouting, it isn't fighting, it isn't proving someone wrong. Sometimes the greatest revenge is simply living a happy life, without the people who once tried to destroy it. Thank you for listening to my story. If this story touched your heart, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share it with someone who needs to hear it, because sometimes the truth arrives late, but when it does, it changes everything.